It's time once again. It's time once again. It's time once again for the Inedible Gourmet, the weekly program that features all sorts of foods you would never want to eat. On tonight's program, we're going to be making one of my favorites. That's right, Camel Wonder Rolls. It's a taste-tempting combination of Camel's straight, unfiltered cigarettes, Wonder Bread, the bread you've known and trusted that helps build bodies 12 ways, and epoxy. To make this tasteless, inedible dish, you'll need a pastry board, a rolling pin, a cookie sheet, a frying pan you don't especially like, a spoon you'll never be able to use again, a spatula, and a glass that will be destroyed in the process. The first step is to flatten 20 slices of Wonder Bread. Let's just open this package up and see this white flour delight that's entertained taste buds for generations. Oh, there's at least 20 there, I bet. No crusts. Crusts would be tasteless for Wonder Rolls. Just set a piece of Wonder Bread down there, and one of the great things about Wonder Bread is the way it completely flattens. See that? It's flat as a pancake. We're going to do that with 20 pieces of bread. Yes. Now that you've got the pieces flattened out, we're going to trim them down to size by cutting off the crust. We don't want the piece of bread that we cut to be any larger than the length of a Camel straight cigarette. And we don't want any crusts. So there is a little waste, I guess, but isn't that the American way? And all these heaps of excess crust that you end up with, this doesn't have to go to waste because Wonder Bread is an incredible building insulator. I just stuff it into my light switches, and it gets into the whole rest of the wall. And it's a wonderful insulator. It helped increase the R value of a wall by more than 40%. The next step is to fry the cigarettes. That's right, fry the cigarettes. First, we turn on a real high heat and pour in a nearly excessive amount of peanut oil. Don't worry, peanut oil has very little cholesterol, but you'll not be eating these cigarettes anyway. Now we're going to open the pack up, and once the oil starts to smoke, we're going to fry the cigarettes. Let's get all these cigarettes out, yes. You know, there's a great satisfaction in opening an entire pack of cigarettes at a time. You get to see them in their 20-foldness. Yes, look at all those cigarettes and feel that drenching heat. Why, there's a little bit of tobacco in there already. I think the oil is starting to become obnoxious, and that's important whenever cooking tobacco. You know, you wouldn't want to use oil that hasn't been fouled either through overheating or underuse. Okay, it seems hot enough. I smell what smells like the back of a cheap restaurant, so we must be ready to put the cigarettes in. You notice? They're picking up the oil right away and getting completely soaked in nature's own peanut oil. Ooh, that smells so good. And it looks oh so delicious. Oh, yes. Yes, they're so delicious. And now we're going to set them out to dry. We don't want any of the oil to escape, so we won't be turning them too much. Oh, they look so good, and there's such a shade of dark, dingy sewer brown. Look at those little darlings. Makes you hungry or thirsty or something just to look at them. Next, we need a nice length of heavy-duty aluminum foil. What we're going to do with the aluminum foil is wrap the cookie sheet so we can use it at a later date for some incredible plastic treats we've got planned later in the season. We're going to make a little mold to put the Camel Wonder Rolls in. See, you just bunch up the aluminum foil like this. making little troughs in which to put the cigarettes, the Wonder Bread, and the epoxy. And now we're going to spread Vaseline brand petroleum jelly all over the mold we've just made. Feel that Vaseline goodness as it slicks up any surface. I love Vaseline. You know, legend has it that Vaseline petroleum jelly was originally a communications medium of the Incas. Scientists haven't yet discovered how it was used, but it seems like Incas over great distances were able to communicate through the use of Vaseline brand petroleum jelly. Now we're going to take the fried cigarettes and roll them in the flattened Wonder Bread. Doesn't that look delicious? But you don't get to eat it, because we're going to plasticize it. That's why we cut. Ooh, this cigarette is a bit delicate. Some of the tasty tobacco is coming out of it. But don't worry, they're all going to look the same once they're embedded in lucite. You know, this is the part I like the best, rolling the cigarettes into the Wonder Bread. It reminds me of when my mother used to make Wonder Rolls, and all the kids would gather around and sit at the kitchen table and watch while Mom fried the cigarettes, just waiting to roll them into these cute little treats. And now, we're going to take these taste-tempting little morsels and broil them. Let's see how they're doing. Oh, they're beautiful. They're a tasty, toasty shade of golden brown. Oh, don't they look appetizing? And now it's time for the plastic. That's right, epoxy solution. And we're going to mix it inside of this glass here. We'll just take off the top. And remember, this glass is never going to be good for much, except maybe a whoopee glass for friends who drop by on April 1st. Look at those bubbles of plastic goodness going in. Yes, let's milk that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's got the right idea. It knows what being plastic is all about, and who are we to argue with it? That's about it for that stuff. Is this the stuff you're supposed to put in first? Well, maybe not. We'll see. Now, here comes the black bottle. Do they look like they're having fun together? Yes, they do. Just making a clean, clear, plastic, globular mess. Well, that takes care of it for the little black stuff, and now we're going to stir it up. Oh, it gives you a lot of resistance. I like the feel of that. Don't want to get any bubbles in it. Well, it seems to be about all bubbles right now. Now let's just pour it on. Yes, indeed. We're just pouring it on to these beautiful little trophies of an evening of inedible cuisine. Yes, let's be sure we get plenty of plastic on, because what my mama always said was, no skimping on the plastic, son. You know, you can cut back on spices when you're making inedible foods. You can cut back on cooking time, but if you cut back on the plastics, what you're going to have is a piece of limp, moldy goo. And that wouldn't look good on an end table or a coffee table or any other place you'd take your object to art, would it now? Okay.
The epoxy on Camel Wonder Rolls takes about 2 or 3 days to dry, so we made these in advance here in the studio. To serve, just place in daisy form around the outside of your favorite serving dish. And then what I like to do is put the empty pack of Camels right there in the middle. Doesn't that look delectable? Won't you be a proud connoisseur when you serve that to your guests? And those Camel Wonder Rolls, they're so brown and delightful. Well, that's about all the time we've got today on the Inedible Gourmet. And so until next time, so long. The preceding program is made possible by a grant from Mass Dirt Foods, a long division of Dirt International, the nation's leading producer of edible minerals.